Akshita, hi, you're able to hear me?
Yeah, yes, Raghu. Hi, I can hear you. Jitendra, are you there? Jitendra, can you hear me? Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today with Wipro. So we have Raghu representing Wipro. He's a chief of internal audit and vice president. He will be representing Wipro today. So for a quick introduction, Raghu has been with Wipro for past 16 years. Prior to current role in internal audit, Raghu was business finance manager for global infrastructure services delivery and operations for last 2.5 years. Before this, he was part of Wipro's corporate enterprise risk management and business process excellence function, leading the corporate risk center of excellence team for 8 years. He was also the global lead for business process excellence in record to report track and the anti-bribery compliance program manager for Wipro Limited. Over to you, Raghu.
Thanks, Akshita. Good to be connected with this team of fresh chartered accountants. Would you or Dale be able to put up the deck?
Yeah, sure.
So while this comes up, I think what we would like to do is, you all know about Wipro in general. You would have heard about Azim Premji. You would have heard about the work what Wipro does for the community. As a corporate, we would like to introduce Wipro to you in terms of what does this CA cohort program of Wipro is all about. I'm sure some of your friends, peers, seniors would have been part of this program at some point, and you would have all taken some feedback. The idea here is to introduce what we are currently doing in Wipro as a company. Where are we? What are the various things you can look out for in Wipro as part of the cohort program, and as when you grow your career in after completion of the CA. That's the idea of what we will do in maybe about 15-20 minutes. I'll start in terms of taking in the presentation, and then Dale and Akshita can talk a little bit more about the program in detail, and then we are open for any questions.
Raghu, can you see? Can you see the slides?
Somehow it's not coming up for me.
Okay. Can you see now?
Still no, Akshita. Maybe what about others?
Able to see Akshita.
Uh, But it says my screen is shared.
Some trouble. Maybe I don't know because we are an office network, some issues there. Maybe let me try to share the screen.
Thank you so much, Raghu. Thank you.
Are you all able to see it?
But now, Raghu,
Sorry, Dale.
it's visible now.
It's well now. Okay, great. Let me start. So, folks, you all would have seen the table book on Wipro, which was released by Rishad a few years back. In some form, we also share a very long history along with India as a country. We are about 2 years prior to Indian independence. 1945 is when Wipro started. We completed our 75 years a couple of years before India celebrated the 75th year of independence. So the rich history what we have today for about close to 8 decades talks about how Wipro has shaped up as an organization, as a corporate, growing along with the growth of India as a country, as well as equally contributing back to the society. Throughout the entire period, the kind of charity work, the kind of philanthropic work done by Asim Premji and his both Premji Foundation as well as Wipro Foundation has been very coexistent along with India's growth trajectory. Be it for the first time when Wipro entered into an IT technology industry, when we got into the IT hardware products, when we started R&D. Again, when I talk about it, some of our very proud moments I can recollect is when Abdul Kalam actually came to our campus and opened our Tarang Research Lab. So we have a research lab which is state of art, and it actually does several, cutting edge research. For example, if you have to test something, how will an airplane's software work at 30,000 feet? Some of those testing is done in these labs, simulated condition. It was really a proud moment for us when Sir Abdul Kalam ji came to our office. He opened a Tarang lab in Sarjapur, Bangalore. I can still remember that moment when all of us were cheering so much for that event. So a lot of history along with India in terms of the growth, in terms of what Wipro has done as an company, and equally contributing it back to society from where we have also grown. Right. Today, if we take what we do from a soap oil making company to moving into consumer products to moving into today's the latest technology, being it in information technology as cloud or digital or AI, I think the journey has been a very transformational journey, where the business has identified at various points in time what are the changes in the markets, where do we need to do. We demerged our consumer products company into Wipro Enterprise Limited in 2015, and that continues to grow very strongly as a strong independent unit, taking care of consumer products, furniture, industrial engineering, and those products. Wipro as a standalone IT company continued its journey in 2015 and today has grown into an $11.5 billion company. And our path and journey continues in terms of AI, in terms of digital, and in terms of cloud. Our values and integrity, I think that's the fundamental part. If you take any Wiproite, one of the first things everyone will talk about is the integrity what we demonstrate. Starting from our founder chair, the entire Asim Premji and his family look at wealth not just as a measure of human living, but wealth as a measure of how it can be contributed back to the society. Like especially in this last 3 years, close to about 5 million people were fed by Asim Premji Foundation. Totally about 1,125 crores were given in 2020 alone for COVID support, be it in terms of meals to people, be it in terms of vaccines to people, oxygen monitors, several particular activities, which makes us proud. Today, 74% of the company still is with the founder, and it goes back into the foundation, and that gives us the daily pride. And today, if we work and we make money, obviously, but once we make profit, 75% goes back to the society, and that's what makes us feel proud every day when we come into office. The core core fabric for us is the integrity compass. Anything which is done in the company is straightforward, follows law. In fact, there are many times in which Wipro is invited by the various central and state government to shape a policy, or an industry body like CII or NASSCOM to shape up how the laws should be done, governance practices. Any major regulation you would have read about, studied in your studies. Take it for example, Sarbanes-Oxley SOX. When SOX came, 2 years before the SOX became official, we adopted it. Similarly, having X number of independent audit committee members, having a very diversified board, audit committee, top management, as well as diversity today in every team of our operation is again a standalone and proud benchmark. If I take, for example, my own function, internal audit in Wipro, we are 56% gender diverse. We have 56% women leaders in our function compared to 44% male leaders. And that's a very proud diversity metric for us. Diversity by way of gender, diversity by way of, today we are even looking at non-technical, non-CA group into internal audit. That's the kind of diversity we build. Globally, we have at least citizens of more than 25 countries who operate with us. That's the kind of global diversity with which we work in. Our whole model is, be very straightforward, treat your customers as their expectations to be met in a clean manner, be passionate about that success, treat every individual, be it an employee, a customer, a vendor, a partner in the ecosystem with respect, be very global and responsible. There are a lot of things which Wipro directly does as corporate social responsibility, in addition to the Azim Premji Foundation, and unyielding integrity. At any point in life, if there is any question, any doubt on integrity, it is never entertained. There is zero tolerance to anything which is a defective integrity factor. And that's the core fabric of Wipro. As youngsters, when we join a company, there are three things we always expect. One is a good learning platform. I'll talk a little bit about it in terms of saying what are the various components of Wipro, how we have diversity in finance learning. We expect to be respected. We also expect to join a very clean organization, which is free of politics, which is free of any integrity, shady things. And that's clearly what you would get in Wipro. In addition to the spirit of Wipro, we also have built something called as Phi Habits. And this is again very close to us because this is the tone at the top set right by our current chairman, Rishi Premji. He conducts sessions for close to about 30,000 people. He has already covered over the last 2-3 years on what are the habits we need to practice to live our value system, to live our fabrics of integrity, ethics, and passion, which we spoke in the previous slide. Being respectful, being responsive, always communicating, demonstrating stewardship, and building trust. These are our 5 habits which we follow to make sure that the fabric of Wipro, the spirit of Wipro, is always upheld. And each of these are dimensions which makes us succeed well, which propels us to great performance, at the same time remaining in the moral fabric with which we have been built. Today, if you take a quick look at our numbers, we are at we clocked 2.82 billion in Q4. We are 11.2 billion company. We are more than 257,000 employees. Like I said, we're about more than 25-30 nationals who are currently there. We are present in 65 countries. We have so much of more than 1,000 plus clients which are growing at various points in time. And there is an index called as Dow Jones Sustainability Index, which measures how a company grows very profitable, at the same time grows in a sustainable manner. Sustainability by way of our commitment to society, our commitment to carbon emission, our commitment to governance. And for the 12th year in a row, we are a member of the Dow Jones Sustainability Index. In fact, we are also a member who shape up their standards. They look out to us at any point in time for key metrics what we have. Our businesses are global. We have 4 SMUs or markets, as we call it. We have Americas 1, 2, we have Europe and APMEA, which includes India. And we have 4 global business lines. Again, all of this have been shaped up based upon the developments in technology, in moving into cloud, moving into digital, moving into AI, moving into consulting, moving into Internet of Things. And each one of you today are so much more empowered with technology than what, for example, I would have been as a student or an fresher CA 16, 20, 17, 20 years back. So today you all would see there is bank in your hands. Today we are hearing about how our UPI will work in not only in India, it will work in Singapore, it will work in France, it will work in different countries, right? So things like Paytm, things like GPay, things like online ordering, a lot of things have changed in the technology, and making sure that this works for customers, smooth, seamless, is all about how Wipro transforms customers, be it in terms of our work in cloud, be it in terms of enterprise futuring and engineering edge. I spoke about Tarang, which was opened by Dr. Abdul Kalam, and that remains again our strength. Our work done in engineering simulates several new technology. If it could be a new handset brought in by a telecom company, a new software tested in a new aeroplane, all that comes under our research and development capability under engineering edge. And of course, consulting from Wipro consulting perspective. These are our 4 global business line, which cumulatively adds up to the $11.2 billion and working in these markets. Both from our social responsibility in terms of what we do as our corporate social responsibility, and equally from a business responsibility of how we operate. Many of our offices, buildings are LEED Gold certified, means that we work in a model, all our offices are constructed in green technology. A state-of-art technology, for example, is our Kodati campus in Bangalore, which is a very marquee campus for us, and that can host close to about 30,000 employees. And a very interesting part is that the entire office is built only in 25% of the space. We have bought, let's say, 100% of the space, but 75% of the space is left for open greenery ecosystem, and a lot of amenities and recreation for the staff there. Be it there is a cricket ground, there is a badminton ground, there's entire space which has been left out as a very good balance between work life, a balance between ecologically how we should build buildings. We have not tried to exploit the space. We have made sure that only 25% of the space is actually utilized for buildings and 75% is left back for nature. That's our business responsibility. An example of how everything we do, we look at it from a balance. Again, inclusion and diversity, we talked about it. There are quite a number of differently abled people who work with us. Very, very inspiring stories of people who are visually challenged, who are physically challenged, but have done wonders for us. And this is not just as a list of checkpoints we need to do, a tick mark we have to do. We truly believe in this, and that's how we have grown into having a very inclusive and diversified organization. An example, for example, is I work with an HR leader who is visually challenged, but I didn't realize that for 5 years. The person had the same contribution, would have been very passionate, and for 5 years we never knew that the person was visually challenged. So that's a kind of impact people create for us. It's not something which we do for getting some award. There are a lot of awards listed here, but that apart, we truly believe that adds a very creative nature to us. It adds a very diversified nature to us, and everything we do becomes more excellent because we take into account different perspectives and dimensions. Now let's talk a little bit about the finance structure, and I leave Dale and Akshita to talk about the rest of the cohorts program. So what you get as a quick snapshot of the cohorts program is there are different parts of it. When you join a company, at many times you are into a particular role and you don't change roles for a few years or many years in many corporates. But what we always realized is when people rotate, they find their cup of tea. Today, when you are a fresher CA, some of you may have very clear thoughts that I want to be only in this domain. But some of you may, or many of you might still feel, let me find my path. Let me know where do I excel? What is my passion and interest? And that's exactly what cohorts program provides you. It gives you a rotation program. There is a first stint where you spend 1 year, and there's a second stint where you spend 2 years. And both these stints put together gives you a diversity of your experience and exposure, be it in tax, controllership, treasury, investor relations, financial planning and analysis, secretarial, business finance, business support activities, or audit. and thereby it evolves you into a more stronger professional, and it helps you to find out what works for you. Right. For some people, statutory audit might be easy. For some people, internal audit might be good. Some might love taxation. Some might love IFRS and accounting. So till we find out where we are good at, till we find out what really excites us, the program helps you to make that determination by way of these rotations, what is pre-crafted and pre-constructed, and helps you to make those intelligent choices. So this is broadly what the snapshot of what it will give you. In addition to it, Wipro is also known to be a very strong acquiring company in the market. We would have had close to about 40-50 acquisitions over the last 10-15 years. At any point, there are 20 acquisitions with us. So which means it's not just one company you're getting exposed to. You really are working with addition of 20 different companies at any point in time. We recently had an acquisition of a very large size Capco, which is based out of Americas, UK, and different parts of the country, a $1.5 billion company. And again, that's one of the examples. We have 20 acquisitions at any point in time. Right. And each of these activities gives you a quick glimpse into multiple markets. You will learn about finance core concepts, how it is applied. You will definitely learn about accounting. You will also learn about the business, different types of contracting, different types of taxation, international taxation, transfer pricing, and you will evolve as a professional. The program is also constructed with a nice case study approach where you all work together in groups. There are cases given to you. There are people who will come and talk to you, both within the company and experts whom very diligently Dale and team bring to the table, people who are experts in a particular area. So in some form, blending you from your study mode into a corporate world with a touch of studies to keep you more shaped up on applied thought. We learn a lot of theoretical part in our curriculum. Articleship period, of course, gives us an exposure in terms of what we can put to use at times. But in a corporate impact, it brings you to that scale where you will apply your concepts, be it to a real life transfer pricing or a real life taxation or a real life audit of an internal process. And that's what you will get as an evolution, which makes you a sharper professional, which makes you a person who's exposed to different markets, different standards. Like you will definitely learn about IFRS, you will learn about different taxation concepts, auditing at a particular scale and size. And that's what will make you as a stronger professional. There are also trainings for you in terms of communication. If there are people who are strong in Excel, you get upgraded to an Power BI kind of a training. There are people who get trained. If somebody is new, they get into advanced Excel training and stuff like that, which also makes you that much more technologically savvy, ability to have analytics as a strong touch point, and which makes you a professional of all qualities, both with skill sets and knowledge and exposure into the world. Dale, if you or Akshita would like to take forward in terms of some of the nuance of the program.
Sure, Raghu. Thank you. So as you can see in the slide, we have a 2-year program ready for you, which is called Cohorts program. It's a flagship program of Wipro, and we have different modules in this program, technical modules, as well as we have some soft skills sessions also planned for you. So when you say the technical modules, these are the, you can see the modules on the screen: international finance, international taxation, business accounting, Wipro Way, and data analytics. So what we do is that when you take up one module, which is in, for example, if it's international finance, we provide you the training on certain concepts in international finance, and this training will be done by an external trainer. And there will be a person who will be there internally who will talk about international finance from the from Wipro's world. So now thing is that you will get both the, you will have a view on both the approaches, an external person talking to you, an internal person talking to you when we take up a module, a technical module. So once we're done with the training program, we give a case study to solve, and we'll divide the entire batch of cohorts into different groups, and each group will get a mentor attached to them. So that's how we ask the cohorts to solve the case study. We give 1 month's time, and then they have to come up with a case study solution. After 1 month, they have to come up for a presentation, and we will have a panelist, external panelists as well as internal panelists there to judge the presentations. And that's how the best presentation will be chosen from the presentations that we will be having on the assessment day. So this will go on for 2 years on different modules. As you can see the modules here already. I can say that the rewards are the module toppers will get to have a lunch with the CFO, and the batch toppers, when we look at the overall scores, the batch toppers will get to have a lunch with the CXOs of the organization. And another interesting part is that is the rotation program. As Raghu mentioned, there is a structured rotation program for all the cohorts. Uh, uh, the thing is that you will be completing, once you complete 1 year in Wipro, you will be asked to get rotated to the next role, and that next role will be decided by your performance, not just in your cohorts program but also in your department, the department that you were working with for the 1 year. You will be assessed in your department performance, as well as your cohorts performance will be taken into consideration while deciding the role for the next year. You will also given opportunity to give your preferences. You can give 3 preferences when it comes to rotation program. You can give your first, second, and third preference when you decide your next role that you wanted to be in or aspiring for. So that's how the rotation program goes. So these are few things that I wanted to highlight in cohorts program. If you have any questions, we can take that now. So when it comes to the assessment part of the hiring process, we have a structured process for that as well. We have an online assessment happening on 26th July. And once you get selected in the online assessment, you will get an intimation from Wipro's end mentioning that you are shortlisted for the interview. There are 3 rounds of interview. Round 1 is a technical round. Round 2 is also a technical round. Round 3 would be HR round. So there are 3 rounds of interview. So that's how we shortlist the final selects to the cohorts program. The CTC for the cohorts would be 11 lakhs per annum, and 2 lakhs of deferred bonus is attached to the compensation for cohorts, which will be paid after 2 years of your employment with Wipro. I'm just pointing out the things that you have normally asked in the past, like the doubts that cohorts have. I mean, the new chartered accountants have asked in the past. So that's how I'm answering these questions.
Bill, I was also confused. I couldn't see any chat questions.
Right, Raghu. So we have very less participants. Maybe that's the reason they will be seeing this video later. But then right now we don't have many participants to ask questions. The pattern, question paper pattern would be there would be 3 sections. One is English, second would be analytical reasoning, and third is quantitative aptitude. So these are the pattern, these are the sections on which you would be tested for the online assessment. Shabdi, if you're there, can you post the link where they can apply in chat, YouTube chat?
Sure.
So there are no referrals in this cohorts hiring. So whoever wants to apply for this program, cohorts program, will have to apply using the link which Shabdi is posting in the YouTube chat. So you can, I think the deadline we have kept is 24th July. Shabdi, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's 24th July and 12 p.m. So before that, you have to apply for the cohorts program.
And since most of you will be watching the recording of this, you can, if you have any queries, you can ask it to finance.cohorts@wipro.com.
Yeah, so you can ask your queries to that particular ID that Shabdi just mentioned, finance.cohorts@wipro.com. We will be replying to all your queries there. Raghu, do you want to add anything else? Otherwise, we can conclude.
No, I think this is good deal. I think all the best wishes to all the fresher CAs. Hope you have a great career. Welcome to be part of the Wipro family, and in general to have a great career for you as you step on to your professional path. Best wishes to each one.
Thank you, Raghu, and all the best to everyone. Thank you.